Welcome to the February 2nd regular meeting of the Murfreesboro City Council. Our opening prayer is Councilman Sean Wright.
Thank you. Please bow your heads. Thank you, dear Lord, for being with us and blessing our community, blessing our state, and blessing our nation. Please be with those that have spoken and unspoken prayers. Please help us be able to sit together and talk and communicate with one another to know where one another is coming from in a peaceful manner. It is in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, I'm going to let you sit for just a minute. Go ahead and have a seat. I want to introduce some guests tonight, and they're going to lead our prayer. Got to be something different, I guess.
They're going to lead the pledge.
They're going to do the pledge for us. So I want to introduce Dawn Powell. And she is with the Holloway High DECA Community Awareness Project, and she's going to introduce her students, and then they are going to lead us in the pledge.
Okay.
Dawn?
Yes, thank you. I'll let them lead in the pledge, and then I'll tell a little bit about what they're going to do.
That'll be great.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Shacklett and Council, for having us. My name is Dawn Powell, and I am the business teacher at Holloway High School, and that's our high school that is a school of choice, and it is a wonderful high school to teach at and for our students to go. So if anybody doesn't know about Holloway, they need to go on our website. We have a great video that explains that. Our students here are part of DECA, which is a business club, and they are actually qualifiers to go to state in a few weeks, and we are very, very proud of them. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but they are working on a project to better their community, and they were told they needed to find an area in traffic that was a problem and come up with a proposal, and so they're going to give that to you tonight in a very short PowerPoint, and so I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hello, Vice Mayor Shacklett. My name is Asher Hell, and this is...
I'm Joseph McBee, and as our teacher liked to say, we are from Holloway High School, the choice school, and we have a, you could say, concerning intersection. Our area of concern is at...
Thank you for having us today, by the way.
Area of concern is right here on Ash and Broad, and our is on East Broad and Ash Street.
The main issues for the area of concern include the angle of the intersection where Ash Street connects to Southeast Broad Street. The intersection is located on a curve. The intersection is located on an inclined area of Southeast Broad, and the closest traffic lights don't stop traffic long enough for left turns.
The closest ones are on South Manny and on MLK Boulevard. The angle combined with the narrow entrance on Ash makes it almost impossible to turn right, and if there's another car in at the stop sign on Ash, it even makes it more impossible.
As you can see, the width of South Manny Street is much wider than Ash Street. It makes the people turning in, turning out, and driving across Ash Street difficult to drive apart and is very dangerous.
As you see in this picture, you can see just this one vehicle turning into Ash Street combines into both lanes. And if there was a second car on the right side of that on Ash Street, it would almost hit it.
So in this video, you can see a small car. It's very compact, and even though it's small, it almost has to adjust and slow down, and if it hadn't slowed down, it would have hit the car.
As you can see right here on the turn of Ash, the parts that are not even supposed to be the road have almost become the road. Southeast Boulevard Street has a curve and inclined on Ash Street, making it scary and dangerous to pull out from and turn left onto Ash Street from Boulevard.
The curve and incline makes it difficult for oncoming traffic to see around vehicles waiting to turn left. So as you can see, going up Southeast Broad Street, you can see that it's a very tight turn to turn off of. And here's the video to show the example. The truck has to slow down and almost hits a car coming in, and there's a blind spot when it was driving up and turning left onto Ash Street.
The curve and narrow lane causes oncoming traffic to get too close to vehicles that are waiting to turn onto Ash Street. Here's a picture of Ash Street on the bottom left that shows how backed up it can get. And here's a video of how aggressive you have to drive on Ash Street just to get out of it.
As you can see, that the truck had to accelerate quickly, and if there had been any weather conditioning stopping the car from accelerating, there could have been a major accident. We have received data from the Murfreesboro Police Department. This data has spanned from January 2019 to January 2023, so spanning for 4 years. The stretch of Southeast Broad Street from the light at South Manny to Ash Street has 376 cars involved in accidents, with 76 people sustaining injuries. Ash Street crash totals are 173 with 49 injuries. We want to stop this problem before any fatalities occur.
We want to thank Ashley Smith, our Supervisor of Crime Data Analysis, for compiling this data for us. And we want to thank Officer Matthew Vaughn with the Rutherford County Sheriff Department that also met with us to discuss and explain how the accidents are written up and how this area has changed.
Overall, our proposal is to improve the intersection and safety for driving citizens, school students, school employees, local businesses, employees and patrons, and Discovery Center visitors and employees. So overall, just the entire community. It makes it hard for all the businesses that you can see around this area. The three proposals we have include
Adding a traffic light on the turn, widening Ash Street like Manny, or making a turning lane on St. Broad for left turns onto Ash Street.
Thank you for having us today.
Gentlemen, would you mind making that presentation to our traffic and planning departments?
We would be glad to.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
That was well done.
That is,
Well done.
Good job, you
that's
guys.
I
remarkable.
drive by that every day, and what you're saying is the truth. I've seen quite
Yeah.
a few accidents. It's not easy to turn in. So well done for pointing that out. I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I spend a lot of time at that O'Reilly's for some reason, so I understand. Can you meet with Mr. Huddleston right over there and set that up?
And Craig, you know, it'd be cheaper to have them on payroll instead of Greg. Sam and Chris Griffin.
Make sure you never say that.
Ms. Powell, thank you so much. That was an exceptional job. Gentlemen,
Good job, guys.
Great job.
all right. All right, you have the consent agenda in front of you. Are there any questions?
If
If
there are
there are
none,
none, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. Ms. Brown?
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Skels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. In old business, ordinance 22047, amending the sign ordinance, second and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Ms. Brown?
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Skels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. New business ordinance 23006, creating Community Investment Trust Committee on contributions. Mr. Tindall.
Yeah, the Community Investment Trust Board met
I'm blanking on when they met, a couple weeks ago. Not too long ago. So that they've signed the trust agreement, established a trust, and there's some more setup to do. But one part of that is the establishment of the Committee on Contributions, who makes recommendations to the board on charitable contributions. The charter amendment that allowed the Community Investment Trust requires an ordinance to set up the committee. So this is an ordinance that establishes that. You'll recall that council appointed committee members a few weeks ago to the committee, so they're ready to go. Their first meeting, their organizational meeting, is on February the 28th at the airport. So with the ordinance, and this is the first reading, I think we'll have another one in short order, and then they'll be established, fully established.
Okay, are there any questions, comments?
Just a comment for Mr. Tyndall. I'm going to obviously vote for it. For the record, I just hope that from an expense standpoint, that any sort of expenses are minimal, for this particular committee, because I know their expenses, we had talked a little bit about, they're reimbursed out of the trust. And, philosophically, I think the trust and any funds in it, that should be focused on the needs of the community, not necessarily expenses for any sort of travel reimbursement, which should be zero, since essentially everybody is local and on the community.
Yeah, generally there's very minimal expenses right now. The trust is, we've offered the city administration to assist with the trust. They'll do the same thing with the committee to get it established. You'll recall that part of this is transferring over the strategic partnerships that we have now. So some of the processes we have in place will just transfer over. So that'll save considerable expense having to redo a lot of that. So yeah, it's certainly our obligation, but intention to keep both the board and the trusts, or the committee's expenses, as minimal as possible.
Thank you, Greg.
Any other questions or comments? Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second, Ms. Brown?
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklett?
Aye. Land Use Matters, Planning Commission recommendations, Mr. Blomley? You're there. Okay.
Matthew, we believe in you. Come on.
Thank you. I will keep this nice and short and sweet for y'all.
Okay.
We have one matter to schedule for a public hearing before council. Planning Commission recommended approval of a request along Thompson Lane. We are recommending a public hearing date of March the 2nd. We already have several public hearings scheduled for that evening, and we're recommending adding this one to that list.
Questions, comments, motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, Ms. Brown?
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklett?
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Thanks,
Motion.
Matthew.
Contract for roof replacements, Mr. Hennessy?
If I could just take a second to introduce Brad. Brad Hennessy. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Brad, but
Before he makes a
yeah,
presentation.
Mr. Hennessy just joined the city not too long ago, coming on board with significant experience in public administration with the different cities. And right now we were fortunate to hire him as a facilities manager. So one of our biggest investments as a city is our public buildings. And so Brad was hired to oversee those buildings, make sure they're maintained, make sure they have all the proper repairs that they need, and to keep those up to speed and useful and as long as life as they possibly can. So welcome, Brad, and I know council hasn't had a chance to meet him, so I wanted to introduce him.
Right.
That's why I interrupted you. So Brad, go ahead.
Well, you stole my thunder. I was going to say exactly what he said, or close.
Oh, there'll be more thunder.
I was going to brag a little more on myself, but good evening, Vice Mayor Shacklett and council. As City Manager Tyndall said, I've been here a couple of months. Facilities management, right now I work with Raymond Hillis in Public Works. Our focus has been to allow the departments to do what they do best, We'll take care of the facility maintenance. One of our first goals is to streamline the communication, the process that we use. I've worked on different levels for different cities. You can tell by looking at me, I'm old, but I'm starting over on a new job. Would like to take a quick minute to thank the folks. A lot of them are here in the corner. I'd like to start with Raymond Hillis. A heartfelt thank you to Raymond. He has been very gracious and welcoming as I've come on board. I've worked primarily so far with Parks and Rec, Angela Jackson, Nate Williams. They've done everything they can do to make a person feel welcome. Kathy Smith and her staff. I've asked a lot of dumb questions, and she's not done anything but tried to help. Finally, Sam Huddleston and Darren Gore have done a lot to reach out and make a person feel welcome, and I would like to thank everyone for that. As Mr. Tyndall said, Murfreesboro has an enormous investment in their facilities. We take it very seriously. We see a lot of potential for this position and for that department to grow and allow the departments to do what they do best, which is focus on public safety and offering services to the citizens. Now to the business of what we have tonight. And I'm coming late to the table on this. Chief McCluskey and Roger Toombs and Risha Watson have done the lion's share of the work on this, as well as Lyle Lynch, but competitive bid process was conducted for roofs for fire stations 2, 5, 7, 8, and 9. The financing source on this is ARPA funds. I think the initial discussion, there was $99,000 allotted to this. The engineer's opinion of probable cost came in at $167. So I think we knew we were going to have to add some money to it. The bids came in lower, more than initially expected, but less than the engineer's architect's opinion. We reviewed all the bids, ran down all the references. There's a wide range of bids here. The low was 151, the high was 273. When you see that, you always wonder, is everybody bidding on the same scope of work? We've done enough investigation into that to find that they were all bidding on the same thing. There is another close bid there, so that alleviated those concerns. But as far as the numbers, the Caldwell Roofing had the low bid of $151,050. I would respectfully request that council accept that and move forward with the contract. And I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
Questions or comments?
So moved.
Got a
Thanks for all
motion?
your hard work. Second.
Motion second. Ms. Brown?
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Agreement for soccer complex scoreboard replacement. Mr.
Thank-
Williams?
Thank you, Vice Mayor, members of council. Before you is an agreement with Electromech totaling $78,768. This is a contract to replace 11 15-year-old scoreboards at the Richard Siegel Soccer Complex and install 2 new ones in the indoor practice facility. Funds for this project are allocated in the CIP. I'd be glad to answer any questions you have.
So 15 replacements, 2 new.
Sorry. No, 11 15-year-old, so
Yeah, that's
13
what-
total.
That's what I had in my head. I just didn't come out with it. right.
Sorry.
Wait, say it again? Stop talking.
13 total, 11 are replacing
2 new.
2 new, correct.
What do we do with the old ones? Like,
Recycle them. These basically don't work anymore.
Nate puts them in his garage.
There's not a market value. We can assess them and see if we can put them on GovDeals, but these basically are non-functional. After 15 years of rigorous service, they've done well.
okay.
Okay, any more questions or comments? Can I give a motion?
Mr. Wade has questions.
So we got 11 scoreboards that don't work.
We have 11 scoreboards that most of them are non-functioning right now.
Can you
but
define non-functioning,
You
Nat?
just said it don't work. There is a difference.
There is a difference. So they don't work to their full capacity at this point. So they have a lot of electronics that are out. A lot of the bulbs just completely don't work, or they don't keep time or keep score.
Okay.
All right, thanks for your explanation. So moved.
Got a motion and a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Ms. Brown?
Miss Averwater,
Aye.
Miss Scales Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Nope.
Mr. Wright,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye. All right, item number 11, agreement for greenways, blueways, bikeways, master plan update. Ms. Jackson.
Good evening. Before you is a professional services agreement with Kimley Horn for the update of the Greenway, Blueway, Bikeway Master Plan. Our current plan was adopted in 2013. Key changes for this will include incorporating the 2040 Major Transportation Plan and the 2035 Comprehensive Plan using updated regulations and guidelines and an analysis of current and future opportunities. Welcome any questions.
That's quite a document, by the way.
Yeah.
I wish I could say I read every page, but they were like,
We'll sit down after the meeting with a full quiz, right?
I have trouble getting to sleep some night. I might.
That's what happened to me. Woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and just put me back to sleep.
It's quite a document. Oh,
Just-
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
If there are none, I'll move for approval.
Got a motion? Second?
Well, I thought Mr. Maxwell was making a comment.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to pepper Angela.
Leave
Well,
my parks alone, Mr. Maxwell.
I'm not going to attack the Parks and Rec.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Miss Averwater,
Aye.
Miss Scales Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Wright,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye. Boards and commission appointments, there are none, I don't think. Licensing, we have some permits, I think.
We have 3 regular permits for restaurants. One's a new location at 1668 Memorial Boulevard. 2 are ownership changes, one at 1841 South Church Street and the other one's at 3138 South Church Street, Suite C. All applicants have met requirements for a permit and are recommended for approval pending building and codes final inspections.
Questions?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Call the roll, please, Ms. Brown.
Miss Averwater,
Aye.
Miss Scales Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye. Any payments, statements?
No, sir.
Okay, none. Any other business to come before? Yes.
Sit down.
Can you give us an update on the West Park? Where are we at with West Park? Have we, Craig?
I will defer to
Sam?
Sam.
Sam would be happy to.
I'll allow it.
Good evening, Vice Mayor Shacklet, members of council. So earlier this week, we finalized a request for qualifications that we'll be posting on the city's procurement website. We're looking for a planning and design firm to help us with that. So we'll be advertising that. I think we've got those coming back in February the 24th. We'll do a quick evaluation of that, try to negotiate a contract with the selected consultant and get them on board in March and get them to work. First step on that Blackman Park project would be to master plan the property. There's 150 acres there. We had talked individually with members of council and also with city administration about how we saw those properties being used. That was reflected in a preliminary land use plan that resulted in a zoning plan. And we would then like to master plan that. I'm really talking about access and utilities and then where improvements might go so that we can take advantage of constructing elements one time at the appropriate time and then dig deep on the park itself. And so that's what we're going to bring back to consulting contract. Our plan would be to get through that design and get a construction set ready to go and see if we can't break ground later this year.
Thank you.
budget for that. We have $8 million, $3 million in one fund and $5 in the other. And Mr. Tindall, I don't remember exactly which those were, but there were $8 million that have been designated for the Blackman Park.
Okay. I just wanted to remind the council, because we did agree to build this park, and 3 years ago, we over-promised, and we came back and made a promise that we would get a park on that west side. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wade.
All right. Any other business to come before council?
Next Wednesday, we will meet for a workshop at the airport. Standard time, 11:30.
Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday,
Next Wednesday at the airport.
the 8th.
All right. No other business? We'll stand adjourned.